Hey broskies, it's Sona. Today I'll be drawing some of your favorite Disney princesses if they were evil. Part 3. Be sure to go check out part 1 and 2 after this video. Let's get started. First up is Tiana from Princess and the Frog. This movie tells the story of Tiana, a hardworking woman who is determined to one day accomplish her dream of opening her very own restaurant in New Orleans by working as a waitress to save up money. However, while determined to reach her goal, many around Tiana doubt her, including her friends as well as co-workers. Despite this, Tiana never loses sight of what's important to her and never gives up. Tiana's best friend Charlotte is filthy rich, along with her dad, and they ask her to serve food at a masquerade ball her dad is hosting for Prince Naveen, who intends to marry Charlotte, giving Tiana money which finally gives her enough to buy the building to transform into her own restaurant. Later on, Prince Naveen and his valet Lawrence meet Dr. Facilier, a voodoo witch doctor. Facilier turns Naveen into a frog and Lawrence into Naveen's doppelganger, with a voodoo talisman that has Naveen's blood. Facilier convinces Lawrence to use his disguise to marry Charlotte, then to get rid of her father and gain the wealth of the family. You want that dough. At the ball, Tiana discovers she's been outbid for the building she wanted to buy, leaving her feeling like her dreams had just been crushed. She meets Naveen the frog and agrees to kiss him to turn him human again, only to be turned into a frog herself because she's not a princess. Later on, they learn of Mama Odie, a voodoo lady, and go to her for help. There she tells them Naveen must kiss a princess to break the spell. Tiana gets a hold of the talisman, however she is stopped by Facilier. He offers to give her her own restaurant if she gives him the talisman, but Tiana refuses and destroys it. Suddenly, the voodoo spirits drag the terrified Facilier into their world for failing to pay back his debt, and Tiana and Naveen both reveal their feelings for each other. Luckily, they're both married by Mama Odie, and then they kiss, making them both human again, since Tiana is now a princess. She finally opens her new restaurant with her love. This movie was awesome. Tiana is an amazing strong woman, and I love how determined she is to reach her goals. Definitely one of the best Disney princesses of all time. My favorite part of the movie was probably any part with Dr. Facilier, because he was so goddamn cool. And the scene where he was dragged away, insane. As a high-spirited woman with solid morals, it's hard to imagine Tiana evil, but I did find somewhere where it would actually fit in the story. And of course, it has a lot to do with Dr. Facilier. When Dr. Facilier tries to convince Tiana to give them the talisman, he does use very manipulating tactics, like saying how everyone doubted her and she should prove them all wrong. Hey, if you give me what I want, I'll make your dreams come true. For a moment, she actually seems convinced, nearly accepting his deal. Well, in this alternate universe, she does give him the talisman, but she immediately regrets it. Dr. Facilier's magic is able to do almost anything, and he actually lied, and he wasn't going to make her dreams come true. After he retrieved the talisman, he casted Tiana into the deepest part of the pond, her soul leaving her body. He used his magic to replace her soul with a new wretched soul, and she was no longer the Tiana everyone knew. Tiana is now an aquatic demon, who lies wait in the ponds for her next victim, to drag them into the waters and collect their souls after feasting on their flesh. She was granted her own shadow, just like Dr. Facilier's. This shadow will guide her in the face of evil, and together, her and the shadow collect souls to give to the friends on the other side. What do you think of this alternate universe? Let me know in the comments. I absolutely love Tiana's dress, and it's easily the coolest dress I've seen on any Disney princess. It's made of water lilies, vines, and leaves. I still wanted to incorporate this into Tiana's evil version as well, so it makes sense that she would be aquatic, since water lilies are, of course, found in the water. Her hair is still in the bun, but more of a messy style as she was casted into the pond. A water lily can be seen covering her left eye, with thorned vines across her face and hair. Her eyes are a deep red, and her teeth are sharp. I also gave her gill ears to further indicate that she's aquatic. Her fingers are long like that of a frog's. Below, she wears an altered version of her original water lily dress, with petals at the top and torn leaves at the bottom. Thorned vines drape down from her arms, as well as the middle of her dress, along with petals around her wrists. To top it off, she has a crown in her hair bun, which is a water lily flower with thorns sticking out. As you can see, she lies waiting in the pond waters, waiting for her victims to come by so she can drag them down below and eat them. Blood is dripping from her face. As she looks into the distance with a sadistic look, she's holding the soul of one of her victims. Behind her is her shadow, ruling over her. Here is Tiana, the possessed water lily demon. Before we continue, this video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. You may have heard me talk about the importance of VPNs before, but choosing a trustworthy VPN is equally as important. That's why you need to go with ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is the #1 rated VPN in the world, and is easy to use. The app encrypts all my traffic and even lets me change which country I want to be in, and works on any device. Use ExpressVPN to access content you couldn't get to before. Ever wanted to watch some Tokyo Ghoul, but it's blocked in your country? You'd be shocked to find out how much content you're missing out on. But with ExpressVPN, you can access all the content you want and watch to your heart's content. Wow, look at all this new stuff I can watch. Another example is when I go to the public library. My passwords, credit card numbers, and bank details are all at risk to literally anyone who is using the same Wi-Fi as me. This is where ExpressVPN comes in, because if I didn't have it, I'd be giving my personal data for free, and that is not good. So next time you're using public Wi-Fi, fire up the app and tap the button for super security. So protect yourself with ExpressVPN today. Use my link in the description and get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. And if you're still on the fence about it, it's literally risk-free. Try it for 30 days, money back guarantee. What have you got to lose? Protect yourself today and use my link expressvpn.com/sodadraws. Thank you so much to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Coming up next is Princess Jasmine from the movie Aladdin. The movie begins with Aladdin, a young man who lives in the city streets of Kingdom Agrabah, alongside his pet monkey Abu. At the Sultan's palace, we see Princess Jasmine, where she is shown very upset. Due to the law of where she lives, she was bound by the law to marry a prince by her 16th birthday, which was in 3 days. After having enough of her life being controlled, she runs away from home and into the city streets in disguise. There she runs into Aladdin, who saves her from a street thug. They both immediately have a connection. Suddenly, Aladdin is captured by street thugs. Jasmine tries to stop them, but they claim they are going by the order of Jafar, Royal Vizier of Agrabah, who is, yes, also the Disney villain. How could you tell? Upset, Jasmine storms home and demands Jafar let Aladdin go, but Jafar tells Jasmine he is already dead. Emotional damage! But psych, he lied and Aladdin is alive, but in chains. Abu helps release him from the chains, and suddenly an old man approaches them, telling Aladdin if he goes to retrieve the magic lamp from the tiger's mouth, he would reward him. This was Jafar in disguise. Aladdin accepts and ventures into the mouth of the tiger, where he meets a flying carpet. With no help from disguised Jafar, he eventually gets out, keeping the lamp for himself. He meets the genie of the lamp, who grants 3 wishes per person. He wishes to become a prince in order to marry Princess Jasmine. Aladdin arrives at the castle, showing off disguised as Prince Ali. Realizing she doesn't like his prince facade, he learns to be a bit more like himself and manages to impress Princess Jasmine on a magic carpet ride, where they fall in love. Aladdin makes the big mistake of leaving his lamp unattended, and Jafar's ugly bird steals it, giving it to him as he uses it to become the most powerful sorcerer in the world, imprisoning Jasmine and the Sultan. Aladdin goes to save them by battling Jafar, but he's too powerful. But Aladdin has a clever plan. He tells Jafar he will never be as powerful as the genie, so out of jealousy, Jafar uses his last wish to become the most powerful genie in the world. After he becomes a genie, he is sucked into his own magic lamp, trapping himself. Aladdin uses his last wish to set the blue genie free, and him and Jasmine finally marry, making Aladdin the new Sultan of Agrabah. I loved the movie Aladdin so much, and I consider the songs in this movie to be easily some of the best Disney songs ever, especially the genie song. Genie is best character, fight me. I know I said Tiana's dress is my favorite, but looking at Jasmine's again now, it's hard to say. It's so unique from every other princess, and I love the style, the way she has her hair, the jewels, 10 out of 10 design. Jasmine is extremely brave and knows her worth. She doesn't want to be controlled and refuses to be, and when she makes a decision for herself, she's set on it. She refuses to be viewed as an object or let people step all over her. Even when she's imprisoned by Jafar, knowing he is powerful, she still throws wine into his face to rebel against him. So I thought these features would translate well into a villain. Jasmine was so sick of her life in the palace, and she was done being controlled and having decisions be made for her. When Prince Ali arrives to the palace, she isn't impressed. She's decided she's had enough. She gets a hold of his lamp, curious by what it does. She summons the genie, where he tells her he will grant her 3 wishes. She realizes she can use this lamp to finally be free. Her first wish is to escape the palace and live far away from there. However, she was found and brought back, the Sultan grounding her in her room for a very long time. Now all of her freedom was gone. Jasmine was at her breaking point. After being controlled all her life, she wanted everyone else to feel what she felt. Her wish was to be in control of not only herself, but everything. The genie granted her wish. As she became the all-powerful queen of Agrabah, her father, the Sultan, was removed from his place and sent into the dungeon, as Jasmine ruled over the kingdom of Agrabah. She was the one in control, and no one could step all over her. Now she was not only in control of herself, but everything. Her tiger, Raja, became a giant ferocious beast, and together they became unstoppable. As you can see, Jasmine is holding Jafar's mind-controlling staff, which she took from him. After that, Raja ate him. I wanted to take a slightly different approach with this princess compared to the others. I know I tried to closely follow the original color palette, as that's an important part of keeping them authentic, since I do change their outfits a lot, but with Jasmine, I threw in more different colors than I normally would. When she is imprisoned by Jafar, she wears this red outfit, so I decided to throw some red in there, and honestly, it fits her super well, and also red is associated with evil, so. On her head, she's wearing a royal headpiece, with jewels and golden horns, holding a magic crystal ball at the top. Her hair comes down in the front, divided into 2 bubble-style ponytails. She wears a layered hoop necklace, and more jewels on her chest piece. A sheer, sparkly cloth can be seen dangling from her arms, and her bottoms match with her top, along with golden trinkets on on the ends. I also included royal purple into her design, and was sure to still include her original crystal blue color in some parts, including her eyes. Raja has turned into this giant creature with 5 red eyes and giant fangs. I wanted him to somewhat resemble a griffin, which are mystical creatures with several different animal parts, and I'ma just be real with y'all. This took me 7.5 hours, this whole drawing. I felt dead by the end of this, but I'm pretty proud of it. Please leave a like on this video and comment if you love my art. In her left hand, Jasmine holds the magic genie lamp. She has only one wish left. What do you think it'll be? Next up is Snow White. I knew I had to put Snow White in this video. Not only is she iconic, but also the first Disney princess ever, as well as the first Disney princess to get their own film. Snow White came out in 1937. Needless to say, the first Disney movie is drastically different than the Disney films we see today. The movie starts off with the Wicked Queen asking her magic mirror, "Who is the fairest of all?" To her surprise, the mirror says that her stepdaughter Snow White is the most beautiful in the land. This triggers the queen, making her very salty. The movie then cuts to Snow White, as she's elegantly humming a tune and singing to the birds about how she wishes her true love to find her. This causes the prince to hear her song and fall in love with her. He suddenly goes up to her and starts singing, which I thought was kind of funny. This scares the crap out of her, leading her to run away into the castle. Not gonna lie, I think anyone would get scared if a random dude came up to them and started singing. Due to jealousy, the queen hires a hitman to kill Snow White. Yeah, sorry girlie, you're too pretty. Off with your head. The huntsman tries to kill her, but he can't do it because he has a good heart. He tells her that the queen wants her dead, and Snow White should run away and never come back. She finds a little house in the forest. Later on, 7 dwarfs come back home, and they allow her to stay. She cooks for them and bonds with everyone, getting along well. Well, besides with Grumpy. He's a misogynist. Realizing Snow White is still alive, the queen transforms into an evil, ugly witch, and plans on giving Snow White a poisoned apple, which will make her sleep forever, which can only be cured by true love's kiss. She offers her the apple, and at first Snow White is hesitant, but being the kind and gullible soul that she is, she takes a bite of the apple, and after one bite, she dies. Just kidding, she just falls asleep. The dwarfs return home, seeing the witch and chasing her off of a cliff, and she dies. Well, that was fast. The dwarves believe Snow White is dead, so they build her a casket, and all cry by her side. Suddenly, the prince arrives, kissing Snow White and awaking her from her slumber, and they live happily ever after. I'm glad I finally got around to watching Snow White. I really enjoyed it. She's such a kind-hearted and generous character, which is why I will admit I did struggle a bit when deciding how I would make her evil. I cannot imagine Snow White willingly becoming evil. I just can't. She's too pure. Rather than becoming evil on her own accord, her gullibility would be to blame. So here's my idea. When the witch brews up the poisonous apple, rather than an eternal slumber, it'd have a different effect. Whoever eats the apple turns into a hideous, ugly monster. This would actually complete the queen's goal without killing Snow White, as she would no longer be the fairest in the land, but an abomination. The witch gives the apple to Snow White, but instead of taking a bite, Snow White turns the apple into a pie. When the dwarfs return home, they are greeted with the apple pie, everyone eating a slice of the pie at the dinner table together. Soon after, the poison takes effect. One by one, all of the dwarves form into a troll-like creature, paired with big fangs and a body full of hair, losing any bit of humanity they had. Seeing this, Snow White is horrified, but she was no exception. Her face sags and morphs uncontrollably, her eyes growing big with slit, scary pupils, and her mouth full of crooked, sharp teeth, stretched long and wide. Her skin sags almost as if it's been half melted. Now, Snow White is no longer the fairest in the land, but instead she has turned into the wickedest in the land, now a gruesome-looking monster, along with the dwarves now being uncontrollable, monstrous animals. I know, guys, I know, Snow White did not deserve this. But hey, I gotta make the story work somehow. You may be asking, Sona, how is Snow White evil? She's just ugly. Well, just like the dwarves, Snow White too has lost nearly all of her humanity. In the picture I'm drawing, she's in the middle of her transformation. I drew one side of her face monster-like, and the other side still looks somewhat normal, mostly the eye, to show the little humanity she has left before becoming completely unhinged. Tears fall from her still normal eye. I drew her hair messy, as well as her outfit having rips and scratches. She tried to go back to the kingdom, but seeing how she was locked away in the dungeons to rot away, along with the dwarfs, being kept in shackles. Not gonna lie, I meant for the dwarfs to be scary, but they're kinda cute, not gonna lie. I mean, look at him. I wanna give him a cookie. Anyways, here is evil Snow White. Let me know your thoughts below. Thanks broski so much for watching. Let me know your favorite princess I drew in this video. Mine is Tiana. And let me know what princesses you want to see turned evil next. Okay, bye!